I thought I was a good husband, a good father, and a good man. Me and my wife were married for 10 years. We have two young boys. I'm in the military and landed my dream job in Hawaii in 2020. Together with my wife and kids, we moved to the tropical island and started a wonderful life together. After not working for 2 years, she landed a job in the government, and I thought we were living the perfect life until she started hanging out with her boss. We will call him Rick. Starting early to mid-2021, my wife has started to talk about Rick a lot. She had a bit of excitement when she talked about him. She talked about him like a giggly schoolgirl. I started to notice it more and more until one day I yelled at her to stop talking about him so much. I have some major insecurities about infidelity from my prior relationship. During our dating period, I used to tell my wife that cheating was the one thing I fear the most. So when I confronted her about her relationship with Rick, I thought she would default to taking my side and do whatever was necessary to quell my fears. I guess I wasn't super clear in my communication. What I really wanted to tell her was that she is getting too close to a him, and I was concerned. Unfortunately, she took it as just stop mentioning him. Afterwards, she would only reference his name, let's call him Rick, along with another female coworker's name, let's call her Mel from then on. During this same time, I started to experience heart problems from the stress of the day-to-day life and was hospitalized twice. I started to get heart episodes when I get extremely anxious or worried. Because of that, I started to stay home more often. In March, my wife was turning 39, started to be more down on herself, and started to go out on more happy hours. She would come home happy, then sit and play on her phone. She said the happy hours gives her an escape. April 22nd. Out of the blue, my wife started wanting us to be more sexual. We started having amazing sex and bonding, but I couldn't seem to shake off the feeling of being off. We started texting dirty with each other, and we started going on more dates. In May 22nd, in the corner of my eye, I saw a text exchange between my wife and Rick. It said, "I want to see your back tattoo." I confronted my wife on this, and she immediately started sobbing and asking for forgiveness. I told her that this is inappropriate and I had issues with him since 2021. She said she would revert back to being friends with him and will stop texting and being flirty. Like a cuck, I told her she can remain friends with him. That was dumb of me, but I felt like I needed to save face for some reason. I saw on her phone that Rick activating disappearing messages that very day. After that, I couldn't trust her totally, but I thought it would go away once we moved back to the mainland. In June, we moved from Hawaii back to the mainland US. We lived with her parents until we were able to move into our new home. During that time, our sex life remained high and amazing. I got a new job where I was able to stay home and work on the house more often, and she was able to land a job that she enjoyed. Things seemed to be going well. Truth. On September 22nd, my wife told me that she had an emotional affair with Rick. She told me that she had a conversation with him a week before we moved and confessed that she had feelings for him during a happy hour. She also disclosed that a week after we moved, she called him to tell him that she loved him. He apparently agreed and said the same. Since then, they chatted using WhatsApp and over Skype at work. I looked at her phone and she deleted all of the messages along with his contact information. I totally lost it and spiraled down a pit of despair. I told her that heartbroken and raging. I knew this was going to happen. She apologized over and over and said she will work to rebuild our marriage and trust. She would do everything and anything for us. At the same time, she told me that she couldn't just get over her feelings for him, but she will do everything in the world to get rid of that. I knew she was trying, but I could see her pain. Just to prove to her, I took a photo of her, so I can show her later on. A few days later, I started getting an intense urge to disappear and I may have been totally suicidal. I started on medication to help me with these intense urges and got my feelings under control. In mid-October 22nd, things were starting to get back to normal on the outside. I still felt like I wasn't good enough and my self-esteem was in the dumps. However, I definitely went through the sipping stage with my wife. We bought fireplaces and planned getaways. I still felt empty but thought I could make it through. However, later in the evening, my wife wasn't right. She confessed to me that she saw him in August. Rick had family in the area and visited her. She took time off in the middle of the day to spend time with him at a park. She said she wanted to be at a place without alcohol and in public. She had to see him one last time. She said they walked around in the park the entire time until when it was time to say goodbye. She went into his car to say goodbye and cheated on me further. She said they only made out and nothing more happened. After I heard the news, I totally lost my mind. I cried and screamed harder than I had my entire life. The kids, who were asleep, were woken up. I yelled at her and told her that she has crushed my heart and scarred our children. Once again, she apologized over and begged me not to leave. At the end of October 22nd, I was looking through her emails trying to further piece together what happened, and I found an hidden email with his phone number with the subject of maybe. I confronted her again. This time, I was on the line of suicide, but thankfully didn't cross it. She gave me the entire truth. The truth I asked for back in May and September. After that, she said she was totally over him, and any lingering feelings have blown away. The hurt and pain that I showed snapped her out of the lie that was the affair. Today, I have reported Rick to HR for showing preferential treatment and having an affair with my wife. I don't know what has happened. My wife has sent a note to his live-in girlfriend to tell her the truth on what happened. My hatred for him and the disrespect is deep. Hawaii allows legal suits against APs, and I'm looking at options. I told her we can reconcile, but I still have not forgiven her, and I will likely never forget. We have been more honest and probably closer than we have ever been. We have gone to two types of marriage concealing and individual consenting for my existing PTSD. I know this wasn't my fault, but when I look at the timeline, I could have influenced the outcome. I know my wife loves me and she said it was a mistake, but I believe a mistake is a single action, not a series of actions. I want to reconcile and I want to be able to try one more time, but mourn and grieve every day. Edit. She has told her family and all of her friends. They have all sided with me and has offered support for anything I need. I have also contacted the AP's partner, and she confirmed basically the same story my wife has provided. I have also checked through prior phone records to confirm the timeline, and it checks out, except all the WhatsApp messages that are now gone. My wife isn't exactly tech-savvy, so if there were photos that she took, they would be on our shared Photos app. It automatically backs up to my Photos account. I plan to go to her work and see her message history on her computer, unannounced, to quell any other lingering thoughts I have. I may pursue a poly just to confirm. Any other suggestions? I'm confident the affair was over since the D-Day 3, but no, I'm just to understand the timeline more. Or am I just crazy?